A couple months ago, I was watching this video by Dracoli, and while watching the video, I thought to myself, what if I did the idea that Dracoli's video was about, but instead, I found where gorilla tag maps existed in real life. So this is where would gorilla tag maps exist in real life. Now before I start looking where the maps would exist in real life, I need to say some things. The first thing is that in this video, I won't find every single map, and there are some maps that are just impossible to find, like Maxo's Only Up. There's no place in real life that would look like that. And the second thing is how I will find the real life equivalent of these gorilla tag maps is that I will use parts that are in the gorilla tag maps and look for places in real life that have these parts. Like for example, in caves, the giant crystal in the middle, I will find places in real life that have a giant crystal in the middle. So obviously there aren't like one-to-one identical places that look like the gorilla tag maps, but I will find places that look pretty close to the gorilla tag maps. I forgot to mention this, but I won't be looking for any seasonal version of the map. Like I won't be looking for the Christmas version of Forest. I'm just gonna look for the original normal version of Forest. I hope you understand what I'm saying, and let's go to the first map. The first map I'm going to find in real life is Canyons. Now, Canyons is by far the easiest map to find in real life because of the fandom page for Canyons. I'm not going to tell you right now, I'll just tell you when I start listing the key parts that make up Canyons, which I'm going to do right now. So the main parts that make up Canyons is, it's basically a desert. It is a canyon, like there's like canyons that you can fall into. There's ropes, and then there is this object. Now, I am 90% sure this object is the prism, I think it's called, from Nevada in Las Vegas's desert. If I'm completely wrong on this, correct me in the comments, but I am 90% sure this object in Canyons is this prism or thing, whatever it is, from Nevada, whatever. Also, I know if you go to the wiki page for Canyons, it says Canyons is based off the Antelope Canyon located in Leash, I think that's how you pronounce it, Arizona. And when I click on the highlighted part with Antelope Canyon, it shows this image. Yeah, this looks basically identical to Canyons. So even though Gorilla Tag added the prism thing from Nevada, the Antelope Canyons look identical to the canyons in Canyons. I'm saying Canyons so much. So the real life version of Canyons is located in the Antelope Canyons in Leash, Arizona. The second map I'm going to find in real life is Mountains. Now, unlike the Canyons fandom page, if I go to the fandom page for Mountains, there's no part that says Mountains is based off of a place in real life, so Mountains is going to be a lot more difficult to find in real life compared to Canyons. So first, Mountains is like some snow place. I don't know if it's like a snow forest, because there's stuff that isn't naturally made, like an igloo and like a slide. I guess it's supposed to be like just some snow place. There's a giant slide in Mountains, and there's a giant fan that pushes you across the entire map, and there's a giant ice slide that I think was naturally made because when the Mountains revamp came out, the message of the day board said this. And finding a place in real life that looks like the revamped Mountains is pretty much impossible, so I'm going to go off the original Mountains. I won't do this for every single map, but finding a place in real life that has like a giant fan that pushes you does not exist in real life. I am 90% sure, and I'm pretty certain I can find a place in real life that looks pretty close to the original Mountains. The things that make up the original Mountains are the same as the revamped Mountains, except in the original Mountains, there's no giant ice slide or fan. Besides that, they're the exact same. So now looking for the map. Finding Mountains took a lot longer to find, definitely, than Canyons, mostly because the real life image wasn't there. And I thought about using multiple images for the real life Mountains location, but in the end, I decided with this image. So the thing for the Mountains real life location is I know the general place where this image is located, but I don't know the exact location. I am pretty confident it's somewhere in Sweden, and if I look at this person's portfolio, most of their images are located in Sweden, so I can assume that this image is located somewhere in Sweden. If you know where it's located, please comment it. I will pin your comment. Also, for this part of the original Mountains, I am 100% sure that does not exist in real life, because if it did, you would die if you go down that, or at least get very injured. So the image that I found has most of the stuff that the original mountains did. Snow, a slide, a forest in the back. But again, for the reason I gave, this part of mountains does not exist in real life. So the real life location of mountains is located somewhere in Sweden. The next map I'm going to find, a lot of you were probably waiting for this, is forest. Now, forest is a lot easier to find than mountains, mostly because the things that are in forest are usually found in a forest, like a treehouse. A blue slide is usually never found in a snowy place. So since most of the stuff that is in forest is usually found in forests in real life, finding forest will be a lot easier than finding mountains. The things that make up forest is, well, it's a forest, so obviously there's going to be trees and grass. But there's also a tree house, and there are double walls. These most likely will not exist in real life, so the real life image I find for forest will not include double walls. Just wanted to say that. There's a slide, and there's a gazebo. So after looking for like 25 minutes, I found 4 different images that don't have everything I'm looking for. Like for example, I found images that have tree houses but don't have a gazebo, and I've even found an image that has a tree house and a slide but doesn't have a gazebo. I've also found 2 images that have gazebos but nothing else. So if the image I choose doesn't have, for example, a metal slide, I literally cannot find a image that includes a gazebo, a tree house, a slide, and like the other stuff that's in forest. I'll look for a little more, but if I can't find an image, I'll choose from the images I've already shown. Okay, so after looking for some more time, I could not find any more images, so I'll just have to choose from these 4. After looking for, I don't even know how long, I'll just put it on screen. I finally found an image that I feel like looks almost identical to Gorilla Tag's forest, and here's the image right here. It has trees, it's a forest, there's grass, and again, no double walls, and it has a gazebo. So after seeing this image, you probably just went, where's the tree house? Where's the slide? Where's the bridges and platforms? Well, the reason I chose this image and not, for example, this image is because this image, the gazebo looks almost identical to Gorilla Tag's gazebo. And as you can see, like on the right here, it's like an open space, like how in Gorilla Tag there's an open space there. Also, I know behind the gazebo there's a bunch of trees. But like this area, if you took all of the human-made things out of forest and just put a gazebo in the middle, it would look pretty identical to the image I chose. And even though there isn't any slide, treehouse, or bridges and platforms, I'm going to choose this image because of the reason I gave. So the real life location of forest is located somewhere in Washington state. Okay, so for the last map, I'll just go do something easy like caves. All right, let me start recording. Wait, what is that noise? It's coming from over there. Great. You probably don't understand how hard it was to find beach in real life. First, the things that you find in beach, you usually do not find in real life on a beach. Like a sunken shipwreck. Well, maybe that, I don't even know. But you usually do not find ropes and zip lines on a beach. You usually find those in like tropical areas as like a sort of like tourist attraction, but usually never on a beach. And second, finding all of these things in a real life image was almost impossible. So like the 4th image I found, if it doesn't have one of the main things of beach, it's because I could not find an image with that thing. Anyways, what makes up beach is, well, it's a beach. So there's gonna be sand, palm trees, and water. How, like I said earlier, there's also zip lines and ropes and a shipwreck. And there's also a shark, but I won't be looking for that in the image. So using these things, I started looking for the image. In the end, I found multiple images that I thought of using, like how I did with forest, but I chose this image. There's sand, water, a rope. Well, I mean, not the rope you're probably thinking of, but it's still a rope, and even a shipwreck. The only thing that the image is missing is zip lines and palm trees, but in my opinion, this image looks the closest to beach. Also, even the mountains around this beach looks like Gorilla Tag. This part of the mountain looks like sort of like the entrance you come into to get into beach. Like it's like a giant mountain that you go through to get into beach. And even like this mountain here kind of looks like Gorilla Tag because there's some sort of like wall that surrounds surrounds beach. So for the reason I gave, this is why I chose this image for the real life location of beach. So the real life location of beach is located in Zakynthos, I think that's how you pronounce it, in Greece.